So for those of you who missed my last video, I have a service dog, and when I was picking what breed I wanted, I explored all the different options, and I figured out that an Akita is actually the one that will work the best for me, and these are the reasons why. I need a mobility dog. He needs to do mobility work, and so he'll be the right size. A lot of other dogs that are more typical types of service dogs are labs and German shepherds and poodles and things like that, and they're also the correct size. But the Akita has less in terms of physical maintenance that needs to be done. Like, you don't need to cut his hair. The fur is actually the easiest part of his care. Is you just brush it and that's it. You don't need to cut it. I don't even really need to wash it. I wash it. I rinse it out like twice a month with just water, and then every other month I'll use a de-shedding shampoo, which really is all you need. They are very duty oriented, and so they're not super once they figure out what their job is, then there's absolutely nothing that will distract them from it. Like, they'll be like, this is my thing, this is what I do, this is my job, everybody leave me alone. They don't have that high of a physical, they don't need that much exercise as much as you would think, and they don't eat as much as a dog of their size would. Like, I feed him a cup and a half of food a couple times a day, just as much as he wants, because they're not really big eaters like labs are. You know how with a lab, you give a lab a piece of food and it will just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat because it's just so enjoyable to eat. But then Akita, they won't really do that. I mean, they'll do that with something that tastes really good, but generally with just their regular food, they won't do that. And they don't need that much exercise, like two 15-minute walks a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, or one long one. And then just playing around in the backyard is all my dog needs. That's how my last Akita was too. He was also a service dog for me. They are not that easily distracted, and people say that they're really hard to train, but a lot of that is just because they have more in common with, you want to train them more like you would train a wolf than you would train a dog, because they genetically are much more closely related to wolves than they are to dogs, and so your more traditional aversive tactics won't work with an Akita, but I don't want to use those anyway, and so they're not very good in performance dogs because they learn really quickly, and once they figure out what you want them to do, they're like, okay, I did it, let's move on now. They love problem solving, but they don't like to solve the same problem over and over the way that some other dogs will, like German shepherds, especially labs. I keep coming back to labs because that's the one that most people are used to seeing. Especially labs and golden retrievers are like that too. They're very family oriented. They love their people. They don't necessarily want to be like in physical contact with you all the time, but they like to be in your presence, and they like to be around you. They don't like to be left alone. Which if you're going to be having them do service work, then they're going to be around you a lot. The caveat to that is that they are very emotionally demanding. And I don't mean that they're like super needy exactly, but you have to be really consistent with them. You basically, before you get an Akita, you have to make sure that you are already queen of your own universe, and that your Akita will know you're the boss, he's the dog, and once you have that dynamic established, then it's not really a problem. I'll talk in another video about whether you should train your own service dog, or whether you should try and get one from a program, or even just getting your own with the help of a trainer, and then because that's really the only two options in terms of getting your own service dog, so that'll be another video. But in terms of picking your own breed, for me, the Akita is the best fit. Like, a lab would be too high energy. A poodle would be too high maintenance in terms of its coat. A German Shepherd would probably be okay, but they shed more than Akitas do, at least in my experience. And a lot of smaller dogs are really good for psychiatric work because they're much easier to handle on your own. But they can't really bear any physical load, and there's a lot more stigma associated with them. But they're excellent for emotional support dogs and therapy dogs, and even for psychiatric work and for like diabetic alert work. They're really good for that. But Akita is definitely the one that I would pick. Don't forget to send me any questions that you might have about Akitas, about the service dogs, about chronic fatigue syndrome, or if you have any like experiences. Funny stories are always really welcome. Times where you had a hardship and you overcame it, or if you're having a hardship now and you need help. Definitely reach out, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, send me an email. Totally looking forward to hearing from all you guys. Okay. Thank you.